Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video on Gran Turismo 7. We're back with a track guide for the latest online time trial that has gone live today. So if you're interested in taking part in these, they go live every single Thursday. They last for 2 weeks. You have 2 weeks to get the goal time, and we're going to try and show you the best way to try and get that goal, basically. Trying to give you a few tips with the gears, a few tips with the car, and try and help you get at least the silver on this time trial event to earn you at least 1 million credits. But hopefully we can try and get you them 2 million credits to help you earn a bit more credits to earn, so you can actually buy a few more cars in the game. So it's quite an interesting one. It's in the Ford Focus RS at Road Atlanta. It's an enjoyable combination if you can control that understeer. And as you can see here, we managed to get ourselves up to P2 in the world. So hopefully we can help you out. Now remember, you can chase my ghost on there. I predict the gold is going to be a 133.9 at least. Also, for this race, we are using sports hard tyres. There is no setups allowed. It's completely default setup, and it's obviously all specified settings for the car that PD have done, so you can't change anything. So let's get into this and try and help you get that gold as quickly and as easily as possible. So starting the lap, you want to try and get a good solid exit from turn one, from the last corner here, sorry, as you're going through it. So fourth gear, let it rev out a bit and then get into fifth gear just as you're going through it, and just try not to go too far wide there. You do not want to get dirty tyres going into turn one. So for turn one, we're going to use that little bit of orangey red barrier on the left as a reference, but we're braking before that because you want to brake early here, and down to fourth gear. Now you're going to try and control the slide, but it is going to happen very often that you're going to slide into this corner. Now if it does, you want to aim to get your right hand tyre as close to this curb on the right hand side as possible, and then onto the throttle quite aggressively, because you'll be able to then carry the speed and it will stop the car on the steering if you get aggressive on the throttle. Now we're going to go past the first dotted white line here and brake just ever so past it. You can see basically where that ghosted car is, onto the brakes. And now we're going to go down to third gear as we keep the car to the left hand side. So down to third gear as we get onto the curb, and then as we come into the last dotted white line there, we're going to start rotating this car over the curb. Now you can be extremely aggressive here. You can see, as long as your left hand tyre doesn't go past where I've drawn that white line where the curb is, you should be okay with regards to not getting a penalty. Just try and keep it to the left of that, and you should be able to get away with it. Now at this stage, we're going to short shift to fourth gear. Very important to do that to stop the understeer, and also to keep the momentum after you come through this left hand corner. You're going to see now, because of that, we're able to keep the throttle down, and you're aiming to get your right hand tyre just to skim the curb here on the right. Try not to get too much grass usage. Again, try not to use the grass there. Now there is an advantage to doing that, because at this stage now you can see the car in front used a little bit of the grass, and he's now going to lose a little bit of time through this stage. So your right hand tyre just onto the curb there, and then down to third gear. And at this stage now, we haven't got any dirty tyres, so we can be a bit more aggressive on that throttle, and we can then carry a bit more speed through this corner. So left hand tyre up onto the curb. Again, be careful of the track limits on the exit of this corner. Very easy to get a track limit penalty there, but you can see how we gained a bit there because we didn't pick up any dirty tyres. And now we're going into the next braking phase. We're using the 300 board on the left hand side there as our braking reference. Braking just short of that. You want to brake early here because you do not want to slide this car through this corner. You want to keep the car under control, because then you can get onto the throttle and accelerate out the corner like we're going to show you now. So nice and controlled, and then onto the throttle quite aggressively here. You can see we can get onto the aggressive 100% throttle, and then as soon as your left hand tyre is up onto that curb there, we're getting back onto the brakes, because it's really important to square this car off and get a really solid exit. Now, I'm not going to go down to second gear. I'm going to keep this car in third gear, but try and take as wide an angle as you can while still hitting the apex of this corner. So right hand tyre right up onto the curb, aggressively onto the throttle as early as you can, because you want to use as much curb on the exit as possible to carry as much speed all the way for this long straight. Now that corner there is probably one of the most important corners to get right on this lap, because if you get that right, you're going to gain all the way along this straight here, and you'll gain a tenth to 2 tenths just by acceleration. So going into the next braking phase, you're going to be looking out for the 300 board on the right hand side here. So you're going to go past the shadow on the track. You'll see the shadow right coming up now there. Now we're going to brake just before the 300 board. You can brake a little bit closer than what I've done here, but I try to make sure that I can get it rotated over the curbs, because what I want to do is use the right hand tyre onto the curb here, and then we're going to start rotating it in, because we want to get that left hand tyre right over the curb. Now you can actually get this left hand tyre a little bit over the dirt there, and you won't get too much dirty tyres, but just be careful you don't take too much. Right hand tyre again up onto the curb, and then I lifted a little bit there, which lost me about a tenth, I think, because I didn't get aggressive enough. But I did it reasonable, but I think there was a tenth lost on this last sector, as you can see, as we accelerate over the curb a bit and got a little bit aggressive there, but we go over for a 31.799, which is a solid lap. Like I say, when I did this lap, it was P2. It's probably fading down to the bottom end of the top 10 now, and it'll be out the top 10 by the end of the day. But the Ghost is there for you to chase. Let's have a little watch of that lap again from the chase camera. As you see, we're sliding into turn 1 there with kilometers an hour on. So for the people that are using kilometers an hour, you can actually see the speed references for the corners. We're trying to use as much curb as possible. See the amount of curb we got away with there? You can be super aggressive on that corner, which then widens the line in and makes this whole sector a lot easier to do without getting dirty tyres. And it's so important to do that, because if you go over the grass, you can't take as much speed through and you'll lose a little bit of grip through this corner, and then you'll understeer a lot of the time and get penalties, and it gets super frustrating when it understeers. But if you really concentrate on not picking up the dirty tyres through there, you'll make it a lot easier for yourself to get the gold time required for this time trial. Now again, here you can see as soon as them tyres are on that curb, braking and trying to square the car off, not going down to second gear. Now I did try second gear, but what I did find was using second gear, the gear change was just losing too much momentum. So definitely recommend staying in third gear for the consistency of that corner. You might be able to get it spot on by doing second gear and really chucking it in, but you know, we're just going to try and get this goal time and show you how a solid way of getting it is done. So that's what I recommend for that corner. And again, into the braking zone there, braking just before that 300, a little bit early in what you probably have to, but you can see what I try and do is get over that curb nicely to rotate it into this next right, and then you can try and get on that throttle as early as possible to carry the speed all the way to the finishing line. So I hope this helps you out. I really hope you can manage to get a silver by following our guide here for 1 million credits, or even that gold and get yourself the 2 million credits. Let me know in the comments if it's helped you out. I'll be back with more videos in the future. Thanks again for watching, everyone.